Fanfiction, a story written by me, writer. This has nothing to do with mentioned ideal BTS members' real-life event behavior characteristics. Pics, sound, videos which are used in this video are not mine. Credit goes to rightful owners. But the editing and the storyline is mine. Do not copy it. The moon hung lower over the city, casting a soft glow through the expensive bedroom windows of Lee Wyan's penthouse. Silk sheets tangled around their bodies as Lee Wyan and Kim Taehyung lay intertwined, their breasts flowing after the passionate wind-wild they had shared. Lee Wyan traced lazy circles on Taehyung's chest, her fingers drawing invisible patterns on her driver's chest. "We were going to get us both into trouble one day," the woman in her late 20s murmured, her voice mix of amusement and concern. Taehyung chuckled, his hand stroking her hair affectionately. "As if travel could catch up us, Donna. Besides, it's worth it every time." She lifted her head to meet his eyes, a playful glint dancing in her own. "You have an answer for everything, don't you?" "Just for you, Donna, just for you," he replied, his tone teasing yet tender. She leaned into his kiss softly, savoring the intimacy they shared behind closed doors, away from the prying eyes of their respective worlds. But reality loomed outside their sanctuary, a world where she ruled the underworld with an iron fist, and he navigated the street as a trusted diver. Their forbidden love was a dangerous dance, but in moments like this, tangled in each other's arms, they found solace from the chaos that awaited them from the bedroom walls. "Te amo, Donna." Breathing heavily, he said while hovering over her. Both of their hearts were beating fast due to their primal acts. The said weapon touched their forehead and took his lips in hers. "I know." He laid beside her and again pulled her closer to himself. He hugged her tightly. Again silence filled the room while they tried to steady their breath. Her eyelids felt heavy as sleep was taking over her. "Donna," she sleepily hummed while snuggling closer to him. "Whom do you love the most in your life?" His heart was pacing fastly as he asked her this. "My throne, Taehyung," she answered him without taking any second. But that's not a person, right? That's your profession, your goal. I am talking about a person. Whom do you love the most?" "It's still my throne. I will choose my throne over anything or anyone." She snuggled more into him, whereas his grip on her loosened. He felt a painful lump was stuck in his throat. "Aren't you tired, Taehyung? Sleep, cause I am very tired. I need to attend business tomorrow." Sorry. "Sleep well, Donna, sleep well." He nodded his head and hugged her tightly. He closed her eyes after pecking her forehead. His memory went back to their first meeting 2 years ago. The night dripped over the city like a cloak of secrecy, concealing the illicit dealings that thrived in its alleys and dark corners. High above the bustling streets, in a penthouse that overlooked the city's skyline like a throne over its subject, her sharp eyes, framed by a cascade of dark hair, surveyed the monitors displaying. Each screen offered a glimpse into her realm, a world where loyalty was bought with fear. They were the enforcers of her will, the shadows that ensured her commands and were carried out without question. Tonight, however, there was a new variable in her carefully calculated equation, a new circuit, handpicked for his skills. Kim Taehyung, a man of a few words but undeniable presence, had caught her attention with his unwavering composure and a loyalty to the cause. As she considered his potential, a faint smile curved her lips, a rare expression of intrigue amidst the perpetual mask. "So you want to be my driver, Mr. Taehyung?" The said man in his late 20s nodded his head. Why do you want to associate with us, Mr. Taehyung? You do know, right, that being my rival doesn't just end there. You need to possess fighting skills too. Donna, I do have fighting skills. I was a trained boxer, but due to some financial debt because of my late parents, I need to do this driver's job. Lowering his head, the handsome man murmured. Wine's eyes flickered from the same as she leered. See you tomorrow, Kim. I don't like the non-punctual people. Thank you, Donna. I will not let you any chance to complain. More than a month later. Late at night, in the dimly lit confines of Lee Wein's private study within her penthouse, she then said while sitting behind her desk, reviewing documents, her expression unreadable. Taehyung, come in. Taehyung entered quietly, respectful but composed. You wanted to see me, Donna? She gestured for him to take a seat. Yes, have a seat. I have been impressed by your performance since you started working for me. Your efficiency is commendable. Thank you, Donna. I strive to uphold your expectations. He looked at her but didn't know why he felt his heart racing that moment. She felt his gaze on her, but for the first time, instead of gazing back at the opposite person in range, she focused back on her files. You can go. Her words brought him back to his senses and he left after bowing at her. Three months later. The night was unusually dark as Taehyung parked the sleek black car in front of Wein's luxurious mansion. The gravel crunched under the tires and the soft glow of the mansion's light cast eerie shadows in the otherwise quiet driveway. As Wein stepped out of the car, her usual composed demeanor betrayed a hint of fatigue, her heels clicking softly against the pavement. In that split second, Taehyung's reflex kicked in, and he instinctively reached out, catching Wein by the arm to steady her. Careful, he murmured softly, his voice filled with concern as he supported her. Wein blinked in surprise, momentarily caught off guard by the unexpected touch. For a brief moment, their eyes locked, Taehyung's filled with genuine worry, hers with a mix of gratitude and something unreadable. I'm fine, she replied coolly, though her voice lacked its usual edge. Thank you, Taehyung. Taehyung nodded, and it's my pleasure to be able to help you, Donna. She nodded curtly, her gaze flickering to the ground briefly before she turned and headed towards the grand entrance of her mansion. As Wein disappeared into the mansion, Taehyung closed the car door quietly, leaning against it for a moment to collect his thoughts. With a sigh, Taehyung straightened up and headed back to the driver's seat. It was a moment he knew he would not soon forget, a reminder that even in the world of shadows and secrets, unexpected moments like this tend to leave marks on their own. But don't forget, Taehyung, you are just a driver, nothing more. Yet, every time I see her, I feel almost 4 months later. The rain fell in the sheets, relentless and unforgiving, and painting the city in the shimmering streaks of silver under the glow of streetlights. Wein's sleek black sedan navigated through the slick streets with practiced ease. Taehyung focused on the road, drove with his usual calm demeanor, his thoughts drifting to the enigmatic woman beside him. Wein glanced out of the window and sighed softly. This weather seems determined to test our patience tonight. Yes, Donna, it's quite the storm. The car hit a particularly deep puddle and causing it to shudder, come to a sudden halt. He cursed under his breath, trying in vain to restart the engine. Damn it. I think we are stuck. Looks like we will have to wait it out. They sat in silence for a while, the sound of rain drumming against the car providing a soothing backdrop to their thoughts. Taehyung turned to Wyan, a small smile playing on his lips, despite their situation. You know, Donna, I have never seen you like this before. Like what? Vulnerable, I guess. Not the fearsome mafia queen everyone talks about. He said, looking at her. She smirked, amused by his sudden courage to say those words to her. And how do you find this side of me, Taehyung? Refreshed, human. Wai's expression softened, a rare hint of flicker in her eyes. I must say, you have a way with your words, Taehyung. You are not just blessed with. Is that so? If yes, then how come I'm still just a driver in your eyes? Their eyes met in the dim interior of the car. What do you mean? I mean, I care about you, Donna, more than I should. Her breath got caught in her throat, probably for the first time. Surprised mingled with a hint of vulnerability. Taehyung, you shouldn't say such things to me. She should yell, right? Course, probably pacify him for saying such gallant words, but nothing sort of came to her mind that time. The Levian felt it's unbearable to look into his eyes, so he averted her gaze from him. He leaned closer towards her, his hand reaching out to gently brush a strand of her hair from her face. Why not? Because I'm just a driver. Because it's complicated things. You are my driver, Taehyung. You shouldn't feel this way. I can't help how I feel, Donna, and I don't want to hide it anymore. Without another word, Taehyung leans in and presses his lips against hers. The kiss tentative yet filled with unspoken longing and understanding. Wyan hesitated for a moment, her mind racing with conflicting thoughts before giving in to the warmth of his touch. Whispers against his lips. Taehyung pulls back slightly, breathless. I'm sorry if this is too much, but I needed you to know. She gazed into his eyes, her voice wavering. No, it's not. It's not too much. I feel it too. They shared another lingering kiss, and the rain continuing its steady rhythm around them as they began to unravel the complexities of their emotions in the quiet sanctuary of their car. Present time. The morning sun filtered through the heavy curtains of Wyan's opulent bedroom, casting a warm glow over the polished marble floors and the ornate furnishing. Her dark hair cascading over her shoulders as she applied a bold red lipstick with precision. Donna, we have got a situation that needs your attention today. Minho, her right hand, said his Liam, her left hand, nodded in agreement. There's a shipment coming in front of the waist. We need to ensure everything goes smoothly. I see. Perhaps the details I will need to speak with our contacts. Though now we strongly advise taking a bodyguard with you. It's a sensitive deal and we can't afford any risk. No bodyguard. I can handle this on my own. Liam frowned slightly, concern etched on his face. But Donna, I said no, Taehyung will suffice. She insisted, referring to her trusted driver whose loyalty and skills were unparalleled. As you wish, Donna. Within minutes, Wyan emerged from her mansion, her sleek black attire exuding authority and confidence. Taehyung's expression unreadable, but his loyalty unquestionable. As the car pulled away from the mansion, leaving Minho and Liam standing in the grand foyer, today's business required her full attention. In the quiet confines of the car, Wyan contemplated the risk and reward of her chosen path. Few hours later, as Vine emerged from the dimly lit building, her heels clicking on the pavement, and she adjusted her coat, the cold wind swirling around her. She approached Taehyung with a hint of a smile and her mind still processing the details of the meeting she had just concluded. Donna, I don't like this. This is too quiet today. You are not wrong. I feel the same. I'm calling Minho. Suddenly, the tranquility shattered as figures emerged from the shadows. They are indeed unmistakable. Taehyung reacted instantly, moving to shield Vine as chaos erupted. Echoing in the night, Taehyung's voice cut through the chaos filled with urgency and concern. Donna, get down. He pushed her towards the cart, his own instinct kicking into overdrive to protect her at any. She brought her hand behind her back and pulled out. With much efficiency, she started to fire, her aim unwavering. Call Minho right now. Nodding his head, Taehyung picked out his phone to call Minho, but his phone. Vine's concentration shifting from the man in front of her to Taehyung, and the firework didn't stop, but strangely the upcoming weren't reaching her body. When she noticed this strange thing, it was too late, as already rang out, striking Taehyung. Vine's heart seized in horror as she saw him. Taehyung! Without hesitation, she threw herself in front of him, taking the men for him. Pain exploded through her body, but she gritted her teeth, her gaze locked with Taehyung's. Donna! The surroundings around them fell silent as soon as the pierced through her skin, as if the game was finished after striking the queen. Donna! No, this can't be happening. His voice trembled as he saw her in that state. Despite the agony coursing through her, Vine managed a faint smile. Her gaze unwavering, she placed her free hand over his cheek. Get out of here. Run, Taehyung. I will be fine. They won't hurt me. Taking a freaking... You were telling me they won't hurt you, he angrily cried. Wrapping his arms around herself too, he tried to hold her. By the corner of his eyes, he saw the intrigued men leaving the place. He felt helpless. Run, Taehyung. You need to run. Hold on, Donna. You are going to be okay. Just hold on. She fought against the darkness creeping into her vision, focusing on his determined face as he raced through the alley, away from the ambush. He picked her up and placed her into the car. Hopefully, the intruders didn't puncture the cart tires. His heart clenched every time she winced due to the pain near her chest. Stay with me, love. Please, don't leave me. Vine managed a weak squeeze of his hand, her strength waning with each passing second. In the sterile fluorescent-lit emergency room of hospital, Taehyung paced anxiously as medical personnel rushed to stabilize Vine. Just then, Liam and Minho burst into the emergency room, their faces a mix of concern and rage. How come Donna got when you were with her? How come you didn't got hurt but she got hurt? Answer me. You answer me. Breathing heavily, Minho growled whereas Taehyung touched his stinging face, tears forming in his eyes as he also didn't foresee Vine getting hurt like this, not especially while saving him. I don't think she will take the trying to save me. Are you nuts or what? Obviously she will. Before they could say any further, doctor came out from the OT. Are you Miss Vine's family? The three men shied in relief. Thank you, doctor. Taehyung looked at them in puzzle. After all this, do you really think we will let you stay near Donna? Next day, when Ryan woke up, Ryan slowly drifted back to consciousness, her eyes blinking against the harsh light of the hospital room. Liam and Minho stood at her bedside, their expression guarded but betraying hints of relief at her awakening. He helped her to adjust in the bed. Where is Thea? He left. Donna, he left the job. He left. He felt responsible for what happened. Couldn't see you after that, Donna. And you let him go. Circumstance, you mean the attack? Yes, Donna. Just freaking stop with your... The bullet wasn't meant for me, was it? It was intended for Taehyung only. Shut up, you lowlife. How dare you cut me off? It seems like I was being too generous to you two that you forget how cruel I can be. Seems like you have sold your loyalty to someone else. Never mind. Never, Donna, never. You were the one who gave us shelter to when we have nothing. Protect me by betraying me. Bloody nuisance. No, Donna, this wasn't our intention. Our intention was to secure the throne you have worked so hard for. We saw, experienced how many sleepless nights, how many fights, how many injuries, how many sacrifices, how many insults you have suffered just to prove yourself better than your elder brother, just to make people trust you, believe you, fear you. How could you let you lose all this, Donna? You know, right, what the elders were saying? They were saying they will use you to keep this clan safe from the enemies. Then after you, that rank's child will become the next Dawn. After so much struggle, this clan has accepted, trusted your capabilities. You were the first, Donna. But after you, this clan won't accept a non-mafia blood as their heir. She looked away from them as the gravity of their words sank into her mind. Was she too obvious about her feelings towards him that even her personal life became a discussion topic for the elders? She clenched her jaw, not just due to the pain from the bullet wound, but also the anger she felt towards herself. Bring him here. Bring him here, please. Donna, just order us. These peasants of yours will do what you wish. Go. Liam and Minho exchange a glance, the weight of their actions heavy upon their shoulders as they silently leave the hospital room. Hospital lights flickered softly overhead as Ryan lay on the sterile sheets of her hospital bed, her expression tight with pain despite her stoic demeanor. Minho and Liam entered the room, their faces clouded with concern as they carefully escorted Taehyung, his usually vibrant features marred by the bruises and cuts. Ryan's eyes immediately sought Taehyung's, her heart wrenching at the sight of his injuries. Taehyung. She breathed, her voice strained but filled with relief to see him alive. Her hand trembled as she reached out to touch his bruised cheek, her fingertips brushing over the tender skin gently. Her eyes narrowed as she struggled to sit up, ignoring the sharp twitch in her side. She then said to her man, her voice was sharp, cutting through the tense air, "What do you do to him?" Taehyung staged forward, his eyes locking onto Vine's despite the swelling that marred his features. "It's okay, Donna." Liam and Minho exchanged uneasy glances, fully aware of the consequences of their actions. "Get out," she ordered, her voice trembling slightly with the effort to maintain control. Her voice rose, the pain in her side intensifying as she pushed herself upright. I'm sorry, she murmured, her voice barely audible. Taehyung shook his head gently, his own pain momentarily forgotten as he reached out to grasp her hand. A tear slipped down Vine's cheek as she squeezed his hand tightly. She shook his head. "I should have protected you." "You did." He leaned closer, brushing a strand of hair away from her face. "Rest. I will be here when you wake up." Couple of months later. The air in Vine's private study was thick with tension as she faced her brother Rang across the mahogany desk. Rang, always ambitious and resentful of his younger sister, Power, regarded her with narrowed eyes. "You want me to guarantee protection for you and Taehyung in exchange for stepping down?" "Yes, Rand, I have made my decision. The throne has taken its toll and I want to step down. But I won't do it without assurance that you won't come after us." "And what makes you think I won't betray you? You know as well as I do that I have always coveted what you have. The power, the respect, the loyalty." Wayne interjected sharply, cutting through his words. "The people of our mafia respect me, they trust me, they have seen how I have led, how I have protected them, ensure prosperity, and they won't stand for you if you were to betray me. They would see it as a betrayal of everything we stand for." "Trust is a fleeting thing, sister. Loyalties can shift." "Not this. You know this as well as I do. Without the support of our people, you would have nothing. I am offering you a peaceful transaction, a chance to take the throne without bloodshed. But make no mistake, if you cross me, if you betray this trust, you will lose everything." "Nor should you underestimate me, Rang. If you don't keep your end of the deal, I will burn your empire. Because after all, people believe me, fear me more than you. And Lee Wagen knows how to fight back." With that, she dismissed her brother, who left the room while cursing her in his mind. In the dimly lit confines of her private study, now Vine stood facing her two most trusted advisors, Minho and Liam, who were silently watching her conversation with her elder brother. "You have sacrificed too much, for too much had to build what we have. Don't throw it away. You are one of the strongest leaders we have ever had, Donna. You can't let your feelings cloud your judgment. This isn't just about Taehyung. This is about me, about what I want to do now. It's about my happiness. Donna, you have the support of us. If anyone opposes, we will pacify them. We have always stood by you, through thick and thin. Please don't shut us now. We apologize for what we did to Taehyung. We won't do anything like that in future. We will serve your brother's children in future if needed, but now please don't leave us. I had said right that I have expected your apology. I appreciate everything you have done for me, both of you, but this is something I need to do for myself. How can I live here when behind my back my people will look down upon my future children or him? What if you regret trusting him, Donna? Then I will support that feeling, cause this decision of mine to trust him isn't influenced by anyone. It's solely because of you. Not always I can make the right decision, right? Sometimes my decision also turn out bad. That's how life works, Priya. Outside in the cool night air, Taehyung stood beside Vine's sleek black car, his posture relaxed yet attentive. He glanced up as Vine approached, his eyes softening with concern, then saw the turmoil in her expression. What did they say? Taehyung asked quietly, his voice a soothing presence in the midst of her inner storm. You didn't lose anything, right? No, silly, why would I? I am Lee Wagon after all. Now let's go. Couple of months later. The moon hung low in the night sky, casting a silvery glow over the cityscape below. Taehyung stood alone on the balcony of Vine's penthouse, his thoughts drifting like the whips of cloud above. The cold breeze played with his hair and he leaned against a railing, staring out into the distance. The wedding ring on his right hand shined bright due to the moonlight. Footsteps approached from behind, soft and purposeful. Vine emerged onto the balcony, her presence a calming force in the stillness of the night. She wrapped her arms around Taehyung from behind, resting her head against his back. "What are you thinking?" she whispered, her voice carrying a mix of concern and tenderness. Taehyung turned to face her, his eyes meeting hers with a depth of emotion that spoke volumes. He gently caressed her cheek, his touch warm against her skin. For a moment, he simply gazed at her, as if trying to capture the essence of her presence in quiet solitude of the night. I have been wanting to tell you something," he finally said, his voice soft yet filled with sincerity. He took her hand in his and placed a gentle kiss on the back of her palms. She looked at him confused, as his aura was filled with some strange kind of calmness. His smile, his words felt like a calm before the storm. "Yeah, tell me." He again looked at her as if savoring her features. Then he murmured, after taking a deep breath, I have lied to you, Donna. I am not a driver by profession, neither do I belong to a poor family. I am youngest son of the billionaire king. Was this story cringe? Should I make another part? What do you think Vine's reaction would be?